All right, it's crazy windy out here, but it's time for another definition. So today we're going to break down club length. A club length serves two key purposes. They define the teeing area of each hole that we play, and they also determine the size of the relief area when we take relief under a rule. Some common questions about a club length that we'll cover in this video include, do you have to physically use your longest club when you're measuring? If your longest club is a wood or a hybrid, are you allowed to measure while the head cover's on? What happens if you break your longest club during the round? And what happens if you add a longer club during your round? So a club length is defined as the longest club of the 14 or fewer clubs the player has during the round other than a putter. For example, my driver is the longest club in my bag and it's 46 inches long. It's measured from the toe of the club and ending at the butt end of the club. This means that one club length for me for my round is 46 inches. But if I put my head cover on my driver or I had some sort of attachment on the grip end of the club, neither would be allowed to be used as part of the club when it comes to measuring. So my one club length would still be 46 inches long. And because the rule applies the length of the club in this fashion, there is no requirement to physically use the longest club whenever you're measuring. So as an example, here I'm taking free relief from the cart path. I found my nearest point of complete relief indicated by this tee, and from this spot, I get a one club length relief area no closer to the hole. For demonstration purposes, I pre-marked where my one club length would reach, which is indicated by this tee. But when I actually go through the procedure, I'm estimating where that one club length would be using my 7-iron, which is completely okay. Just be careful when you do this, because even though you are allowed to estimate, you are still required to drop the ball in the relief area that would be measured by the actual club length. There is no requirement to remove the head cover when you're measuring. Just remember that the head cover doesn't add to the length of the club. This comes into play in situations where you may want to get all the way out to the very edge of the relief area to drop your ball. If your longest club breaks during the round, that broken club continues to be used for determining the size of relief areas. So if I broke my driver in two pieces, for example, I would still be able to use 46 inches as my club length. But if I was allowed to replace my driver and I did replace it with another club, it would be whatever my longest club in my bag was that wasn't my putter. And if I started the round with fewer than 14 clubs and I added a club that was longer than the clubs that I started with, the added club would become my club length that I would use for measuring as long as it wasn't a putter. And that's just about everything you need to know about a club length.